观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎您收看华尔街多媒体，我是康璐。现在是在纽约证券交易所为您带来最新的交易员采访报道。我们今天有幸请到了史蒂夫先生来分享一下最新的交易点评。Hi, Steve. It's glad to have you here.
I am glad to be here.
So first of all, this week actually the market doesn't really move. So what is the market digesting right now?
Well, right now the market really is waiting on some kind of finality with the whole Greek situation. We came in today hoping that maybe we were moving towards that direction. It seemed like the troika of international lenders and the Greek prime minister had come to some kind of agreement. More or less, they told him what they need from Greece. So now he has to go to the troika of political parties within Greece and come back with their answer to these almost demands. From the way the market's moved in the last half hour or so, I would say now that we've broken through 1347 to the minus side, that maybe these negotiations are dragging out and not going that well.
And also another market focus recently is the earnings season. And right now the earnings season almost going to end. So what's your take from this earnings season? Is there any specific sector you think is better than expected?
Well, one thing I noticed is that the earnings season has gone moderately well. I mean, I think about 59% of companies have beaten expectations, which is below the norm. But technology shares, I've noticed, technology companies rather, have beaten on maybe 68, 69% of their expectations. So the technology sector seems to be outperforming the rest of the economy on earnings expectations. So that might be a sector you want to look at right there.
And how can you explain the technical parties better than other sectors? Is there any specific story behind that?
Well, the story behind that would be that there's been a number of years here since the economic problem started back in 07 or 08, where companies really stopped putting money into research and development. So there was 3 or 4 years there where times were really tough for technology companies. Now, these companies, in order to compete, are being compelled to dive back into research and development just to keep up with their neighbors. And now the money is starting to flow into these companies. So the companies who focus on businesses, the technology companies that focus on businesses that have to start buying equipment all over again, those are the companies that probably are going to outperform going forward for 6 months to a year.
And also this week, a series of central banks announced or will announce their rate decision. I think yesterday, Bank of Australia already announced their rate decision, and Bank of England and also ECB will announce their rate later this week. So what's your expectation?
Well, today, Bank of Poland actually is going ahead. They're not expected to do much. Keep their rate at 4.5%. Tomorrow, we get the Bank of England and the ECB. We don't expect much out of the ECB right now. We do expect the Bank of England to go forward with a third round of quantitative easing in their country. Some people are saying as little as 50 billion pounds. Some people are saying 75 billion. I've heard numbers even higher than that. So they're much more dovish in England than they are here, say. Here we're trying to find reasons to justify not going ahead with a quantitative easing 3. And in England it seems like they're going to go for it, and it may be a big number.
But last but not least, ECB will announce another round of LTRO, I think, and at the end of this month. What's your expectation? Like, how large the scale going to be?
Well, we're thinking it's going to be quite large, maybe 2 to 3 times the size of the original LTRO. This is being they can't just go ahead and buy bonds because that violates the treaty over in Europe. This is the way the ECB provides money to the system, so that there's more liquidity around for banks that are struggling, so that there's a carry trade which will propel the buying of treasuries in the different Eurozone countries, which allows the Eurozone countries to borrow money. So it's like one big, I guess, paradigm where every little brick depends on the other bricks. So this is their way of doing what our Fed does when we buy bonds.
Thank you for sharing today.
You're welcome.
好，感谢您收看今天的交易员采访报道，我们明天同一时间再会。